Start a new lesson in algebra. This is going to become a lesson on multi-step equations. You guys will just need to write this in your spiral. Keep it, if you have loose paper, that's okay too. But it is good to keep track of everything. Multi-step equations, we're going to also look at variables on both sides. Okay, you guys have already done 1 and 2 step equations, and now we're moving on to these harder ones. So there's a lot of problems. There are going to be 20. So get notebook paper that's enough for 20. Okay, number 1, negative 20 equals negative 4x minus 6x. All right, so you're going to always look for like terms first. We can see here that negative 4x and negative 6x are like terms. You can combine those. So we kind of went over this last week, but if you have negative 4 in your lunch count and you subtract out 6 more, you're a greater negative. That's going to be negative 10x. But if you're not sure, please put it in your calculator. And you will put it in your calculator just to practice. You'll put it in your calculator exactly from left to right how it looks. Negative 4 minus 6, so negative 10. If it has an x on it, if they're like terms, keep that x on it. On the left, we just have negative 20. Okay, last step is to see what's happening to x. It's squished together with negative 10, which means it's being multiplied, so you are going to divide both sides by negative 10. There's been some confusion in the past about whether you divide by a positive or a negative. If this is a negative 10, why don't we divide by a positive 10? You're not dividing by the opposite. You're just doing the opposite operation to the exact same number. So if it's a negative 10 that's being multiplied, you divide by a negative 10. So keep the numbers the same. It's the operation that you're doing that's opposite. So you were multiplying, now we're dividing. If it's negative 10, it's negative 10. So keep the numbers the same, and they will cancel, and then x will be by itself. Negative 20 divided by negative 10, check it in your calculator, should be 2. All right, number 2, 6 equals 1 minus 2n plus 5. All right, so first thing I would do is look for like terms. I see a 1 over here and a 5. Remember, this guy has an n, so it doesn't have a like term. But 1 and 5 are, and that is a positive 1 and a positive 5, so it's 1 plus 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. I'm going to bring down this term. Don't forget it's a negative. I know you guys are like, but it was minus. A minus and a negative are the same thing. You can use them in different ways. You can use them in the same way, really. Was my 6 positive or negative? It's a 1 plus 5. It should be a positive 6, so I want you to practice putting a plus in between, because if it's positive 6, we need to know it's positive by putting that plus sign. Bring down 6 on the left. All right, now you're left with a basic 2-step equation like you've already taken a quiz over. So we would leave this guy alone and get rid of the plus 6 by doing minus 6. Cancel, bring down your negative 2n. 6 minus 6 is 0. It's okay for a problem to have 0 in it. A lot of people think they did it wrong, or that now they're done. You're not done until your variable is by itself. So now we look at it and see what's happening to it. Negative 2 is squished up against the n, which means they're being multiplied. So we are going to divide by the exact same number, which is negative 2. On both sides. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Cancel. 0 divided by anything is 0. All right, let's go number 3. Hope I have room on my paper to write this one. May be regretting this now. 8x minus 2 equals negative 9 plus 7x. It fit. All right, so I would first look for like terms. This one has an x and this doesn't, so no like terms over here. This one has an x and this one doesn't, so no like terms over here either. So now what do? We can't combine any like terms, so we are going to need to move one of these terms to the other side to combine it with its like term that's on the other side. So you have a couple of choices here. I always would suggest starting with moving the variable. Yes, you can move the -2 or the -9 first, but I like to encourage students to move just the variable ones first. We'll just get in a good habit of that. You'll find out later in the weeks to come why that's important. So if I move this guy to the other side, if I want him to go to 0, if I want him to cancel out the entire term, it's positive 8x, I would need to subtract 8x, which is great, but when I subtract 8x over here, it's going to give me a negative, which is fine. You'd still get the same answer doing it that way, but I personally don't like negatives, and they mess me up, and I try to avoid. So I think I'm going to choose to move my 7x. If I cancel by subtracting 7x onto this side, I will not have a negative, which I prefer. Again, you could do it where you move the -8x, that's fine, but I'm going to choose to -7x. You could do this 4 different ways. This is the way I'm choosing to do. Any of these 4 terms could have been moved first, and it doesn't matter. So what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Notice I'm lining them up with their like term because those are the ones that you can combine them with. These will cancel, positive 7x, negative 7x, and these will be combined, 8x and -7x. 8 minus 7 is 1x. You can absolutely put a 1 here if it helps you, but you will start seeing more and more. Anytime there's 1, it's going to be hidden and invisible. So for the most part, you won't ever see a number if it's just x. You'll assume it's 1. Bring down your -2, bring down your -9, and now we're almost done. X is almost totally by itself. All you have to do is do the opposite of our -2 by doing +2, and then cancel, cancel, x is by itself. -9 plus 2 is -7. All right, number 4. If I'm going too fast, slow down, rewind, watch it again, whatever you need to do. A plus 5 equals -5a plus 5. Okay. Like terms, no. Like terms, no. So we're going to have to grab one of these variables and move it to the other side, or one of the just 5s. But again, I'm going to encourage you guys to move the variable first. So I could minus a from both sides, but that's going to make a bigger negative. And again, I try to avoid negatives. That's my own personal opinion on it. It's not the right way. It's not the only way. It's just my way. So I'm going to choose to add 5a to both sides because that is going to give me positive numbers, which I tend to be better at and make fewer mistakes in. So -5a, positive 5a cancel. Remember, anytime there's just a, it's the same thing as a hidden invisible 1. If it helps you to put the 1 there, you sure can. 1a plus 5a is 6a. Bring down your plus 5. Bring down your 5 that's left over here. And now we're left with a basic 2-step equation. -5 from both sides. Cancel, cancel. Bring down 6a. 5 minus 5 is 0. Totally fine to have 0 in one part of your answer, but you're not done until a is by itself. 6 is being multiplied by a, so we are going to divide both sides by 6. A equals 0 divided by 6, which is 0. All right, number 5. 4m minus 4 equals 4m. Okay. Like terms, no. Like terms, there's only one thing, so no. So we are going to have to move something to the other side to combine it with the other. You can't move this 4m. You can, but then the pan would be unbalanced, if you remember those pan balance equations. So I would rather, if there's only one term over here, leave it alone. Let's get rid of the one that has 2 terms. Now, you can't move this one, because if you do, if you add 4, it's not a like term with the 4m. So the only one you can move is the 4m. And so we would get rid of a positive 4m. We would get it to go to 0 and cancel by subtracting 4m on both sides. They cancel here, and look, they actually are going to cancel here too. So you are left on the left with negative 4, and on the right we have 0. So let's look. What happened here? Our variable m completely disappeared. It dropped out. All these other answers have an x, have an n, have an x, have an a. This one no longer has a variable. They all dropped out. So we are left with a problem that we have to look at and decide if it's true or false. Does negative 4 equal 0? If I have negative $4 in my lunch account and you have $0 in your lunch account, do we have the same? The answer is no. So I want you to put a slash through the equals. That's just a fancy math term that means does not equal. I know, it's tricky, does not equal. And this means there's no possible solution. So I want you to actually write the words no solution and circle that as your final answer. And the reason it is no solution is that means there's no number that you could ever in infinity come up with that would work for m in this equation. No number. You can try it if you want. Try 1 as m. Try 2 as m. Try negative 80 as m. Doesn't matter. It will never work in this situation. So there's no possible solution that will work for this equation. This is the first time you probably learned that some equations can't be solved because there is no possible solution. All right, let's try number 6. P minus 1 equals 5p plus 3p minus 8. Okay, combine like terms. None on this side, but we have some over here. We have a 5p plus 3p. So what is 5p plus 3p? 5p plus 3p is 8p. Bring down minus 8. Bring down p minus 1. All right, no like terms, no like terms. So we're going to have to grab one of our variables and move it to the other side. And again, you move it by adding or subtracting it to get it to go to 0. So I am going to choose to move my 1p. Remember, this is always a hidden invisible 1 if it's not there, if it's just a letter. So I'm going to subtract 1p to get this to cancel and go away. And you have to do that over here too. Remember to line it up with this because those are the like terms. Bring down your negative 1. 8p minus 1p is 7p. Bring down your minus 8. And now you're left with a basic two-step equation. Keep that guy with that. Add 8 first. Cancel, cancel. Bring down 7p. Negative 1 plus 8 is 7. Last step, 7 is being multiplied by p, so we're going to divide by 7 on both sides. Cancel, cancel. 7 divided by 7. Check your calculator if you're not sure. It's 1. All right, number 7. 5p minus 14. I don't know why we're using the variable p again. Equals 8p plus 4. Seems like most of the time we use x, but that's okay. All right, no like terms, no like terms. So we're going to have to move the variable. We can either subtract 5p or subtract 8p. And again, I'm going to choose to subtract the 5 just because I don't like to get into negatives. So let's minus 5p. Cancel, cancel. This is very tricky. A lot of kids will automatically bring down 14, but don't forget that's actually a negative 14. So please bring it down as negative 14. 8p minus 5p is 3p. Bring down your plus 4. And now you're left with a basic two-step equation. Let's get rid of the plus 4. Minus 4 on both sides. Bring down your 3p. Negative 14 minus 4 more You might think it's 10 or negative 10. It's not. Negative 14, check your calculator, minus 4 more is actually negative 18. Last step, divide by 3. P equals negative 6. Please don't do these in your head. Check your calculator. It's there for you. Number 8. Another P minus 4. Interesting. Equals negative 9 plus P. Okay. No like terms on either side, so we are going to move a variable. Either way, you're going to have to subtract a 1P to get it to move. So I'm going to subtract here. It might help to write in the ones on this. Minus 1P, minus 1P. Ooh, I wonder if you see what's happening here. These cancel, but so do these. So we have another situation where our variables dropped out. There's no letter P left. So bring down the negative 4 equals, bring down the negative 9. Does negative 4 equal negative 9? It definitely does not. So this is another example of no solution. There's nothing that would ever work in this particular problem for the letter P. All right, number 9. Negative 8 equals negative parenthesis. We haven't done any distribution yet. P minus 8. Okay. Anytime you have a negative outside of just a parenthesis, it's kind of the same thing as if you have just a P. You have to assume there's a hidden invisible 1 there. Okay, and we're going to distribute. There's a couple of different ways we could do this, but let's practice distributing. Distributing means multiplying. So negative hidden invisible 1 times P is just negative 1P. Be very careful here. Negative 1 times negative 8. I know you guys think that's a minus, but a minus and a negative are the same thing. That is a negative times a negative. Negative times negative is positive. 1 times 8 is 8, so don't forget that is negative 1 times negative 8. You have to look at the number, or sorry, the sign in front of the number to know what you're multiplying. Okay, bring down negative 8 over here, and now we're left with a basic two-step equation. We need to get rid of this plus 8 by doing minus 8. These cancel. Bring down negative 1P over here. I know you think these cancel, but they don't. These are not opposites. It's not positive 8 and negative 8. It's negative 8 minus 8 more. So it is actually negative 16. Oh, now we're going to listen to an announcement. I'm so sorry. Last step, divide both sides by negative 1.
Right now that are bus riders, if they don't know their bus number, to help them out.
Negative 16 divided by negative 1 is positive 16. It's a little message from Mr. Broyles. All right, we'll see if we can get a few more of these in here. Number 10. Number 10 is 12 equals negative 4 parenthesis negative 6x minus 3. A lot of times you hear it as negative 4 times the quantity, negative 6x minus 3. I usually say it like that, so just get used to it being like that. Okay, let's distribute. Negative 4 times negative 6x. Negative times negative is positive 24x. Negative 4 times negative 3. Please don't forget that's a negative 3. Negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. All right, and then you are left with a basic two-step equation. Let's get rid of this guy first by minusing 12, subtracting 12. Oh, they cancel here too. That leaves 0. It's okay to have 0. 24x. Are we done? No, because x is not by itself. X is being multiplied by 24, so you are going to divide by 24. 0 divided by anything is 0. I have officially decided we're not doing all 20 problems because Mr. Broyles is going to come on again here in a minute, and that's going to be a lot longer of an announcement. So I'll get as far as we can through these, and then your notes will be done. Negative p again, minus 8. So number 11 is 14 equals negative times the quantity p minus 8. Again, if it helps you to put in the little hidden invisible ones here, I would go ahead and do it. Negative 1 times 1p is negative 1p. Negative 1 times negative 8, negative times negative, is going to be positive 8. All right, two-step equation. Let's get rid of the plus 8. Bring down negative 1p. 14 minus 8 is 6. Divide both sides by negative 1 because p is being multiplied by negative 1. 6 divided by negative 1 is negative 6. Might be able to get in one more. Let's see here. Let's try a tricky one. How about negative 18 equals negative 6k equals, oh, why'd I put equals again? This one is minus, sorry. I'm just going to rewrite this. Number 12, sorry. Negative 18 minus 6k equals 6 times the quantity 1 plus 3k. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a lot. First thing I would do is distribute. Anytime you have parentheses, you want to get rid of them first by multiplying. All right, 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times positive 3k is positive. I want you to put the plus meaning positive, 18k. On the left, you have negative 18 minus 6k. No like terms, no like terms. So we're going to have to move one of the variables to the other side. I could subtract 18k, or I could add 6k, which is going to give me less negative. So I'm going to choose to do this. Again, it doesn't matter. If you chose something different, it would be fine. Negative 18 on the left, 6. 18 plus 6 is 24 on the right. And since it's positive, I put a plus in between. All right, now you're left with a basic two-step equation. Get rid of the positive 6 by subtracting it. Negative 18 minus 6 more is negative 24. Bring down 24k. Last step, 24 is being multiplied by k, so we are going to divide by 24. Negative 24 divided by positive 24 is negative 1. Oh, I don't know if I can get one more in. Let's try. 13. Let's try. I'll try to pick a really challenging one. Here we go. Negative 3. Excuse me. Times the quantity 4x plus 3 plus 4 times the quantity 6x plus 1, I told you it was going to be tough, equals 43. All right. First thing you're going to have to do is distribute both sets of parentheses. Negative 3 times 4x is negative 12x. Negative 3 times positive 3 is negative 9, so it writes like a minus 9 because it's negative 9. Positive 4 times 6x is positive 24x, so put your plus in between. 4 times 1 is 4, and it's a positive 4, so put your plus in between. Equals 43. Any like terms? Yes, that's a like term with that. And this is a like term with this. So let's combine my boxes first. Negative 12x plus positive 24x is positive 12x. Negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. So I'm going to write it like minus 5 because negative 5 is the same thing as minus 5. And now you're left with a basic two-step equation. We're going to get rid of the minus 5 by doing plus 5. Cancel, cancel. Bring down your 12x. 48 8. Divide both sides by 12. I'm starting to go really fast, so I hope you guys took time to slow this down or pause it in between. Oh gosh, can I get one more in? I'm going to get one more in. I said 20, down to 14. It's good. It's good. We're all good. Let's try this one. 24a minus 22 equals negative 4 times the quantity 1 minus 6a. Oh shoot, Mr. Broyles. Okay.
Good afternoon. At this time, we're going to leave walkers, but also if you are an orchestra
All
or
right,
band
bring down
member,
24a
and you need to get your
minus
instrument, we're
22.
going to release you at this time too. So walkers and then orchestra and band to get your instruments.
Sorry, guys. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative. Negative times negative is going to make it positive. 4 times 6a is 24a. It's positive now. All right, no like terms, no like terms. We're going to have to move one of the variables by subtracting it. When you subtract 24a, do you guys see what's happening here? These cancel and these cancel. So you're left with negative 22 equals negative 4. Nope, negative 22 does not equal negative 4. It does not equal. So there is no solution. All right, we are going to stop there. Otherwise, we're going to be interrupted a lot more.
6.